got a great night for you guys tonight on the News Nerd podcast, all that good stuff. And we got a great cast. We even have we're going to be introducing you to one of our new peeps, new correspondents, whatever you want to call them. We got movies, we've got reboots, we've got potentially the Death Star. I mean, we've got a bunch of stuff. We're hitting the gambit today. The spectrum, everything else you're going to come up with. Welcome, all you geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Masonic Vader here, hosting another all-news nerd podcast brought to you by Malice Corp. Thank you guys for joining tonight. We appreciate you. Thanks very much for Malice Corp for allowing us to do the show. It's fun, and I know you guys are going to have fun tonight. We have a great show. We're going to be talking about movies. We're going to be talking about reboots. We're going to be talking about Death Stars possibly and all this other fun stuff. So we've got a great show. This is Season 4, Episode 16, Quarantine Edition. We are coming to you live from our quarantine houses like we do every week. And we've got some great stuff we're going to be talking about. Of course, we always start our shows off by finding out what people our cast members are geeking out on or we should avoid. So let's get our intros and our geek outs going.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
It's been a weird week for geeking out on stuff. We finished off our Marvel run, my son and I. I guess keeping it simple this week, there is a new phone game that started up about 2 or 3 weeks ago that I just haven't talked about yet. It's a Lego one. I don't know if you guys have seen it at all. It's pretty fun. It's an RPG Lego. It's called Lego Legacy. And it's just taking the Lego characters and having a little RPG back and forth fight and arenas and all that stuff. It's fun. They got some cool moves on there. I've been playing that. That's about it. It's low-key geeking out this week for me. All right, we're going to start off with some our regulars here. First of all, joining us again this week, we have Mr. IC Zorro. How you doing, sir? And what you been geeking out on, and what do we need to avoid?
Avoid going outside, geek out on washing your hands. I've been watching Torchwood, catching up on it. It's not my favorite. I'll finish it off, but so far it feels like Doctor Who, but all in the same place, and they get to swear once in a while. I don't know. Like I like Captain Jack Harkness. I like Captain Jack Harkness as a side character. It turns out I don't really like him as a main character. He's not great. And I can feel Beacon getting mad at me about Barrowman Love right now, but I'll finish it out. I'll see how it finishes out. I played the Final Fantasy VII remake. Holy crap, that is good. There's a couple of little tweaks in there that make it a different experience than the original. And it's only like the first half of the original game anyway, so I'm really looking forward to more of that coming out later. But just super pretty, super playable, fantastic game. And then I've finally started watching this season of Better Call Saul because the final episode's coming out this week. So I figured I should binge that up and just be done with it. So good.
Did you know that Torchwood is an anagram
for Doctor Who? I sure did, yeah.
And they do not swear once in a while. They swear like every other sentence, all right?
They swear like every third episode.
No.
Granted, I know you've watched it like 14 times, but I don't see that much of it there.
It's much darker than Doctor Who, especially the last couple seasons.
Yeah, I'm 4 episodes into season 3, so I've only got one left for that. Super. What have you been up to lately?
I finished His Dark Material because I didn't realize that I never watched the last 3 episodes. It got buried underneath other things to watch on Hulu. And I was clearing out the list because there was stuff on there that I was just like, I don't remember putting this on here. I definitely didn't put that on there. And so I saw it and I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I thought I finished it. So I thought it was telling me to rewatch it, but really good. Solid first season. I can't wait for the season 2.
It made me want to watch the Golden Compass movie, which was a whole different take. It felt like
completely different take. I wouldn't have even thought they were the same thing if you hadn't told me it was based on the Golden Compass books. That's how different that movie was.
And then I actually read the book series too, just to figure out where it was going to go. So I'm looking forward to the following seasons of that.
Great cast, though. Fantastic
Oh,
cast.
I want James McAvoy to be in everything.
Yeah, and when Lin-Manuel Miranda, just I mean, put him at background singing. He can just sing everything. I don't care. So.
All right. Next up, we'll do Mrs. Malice. We're going to save the new folk for last. Mrs. Malice, what have you been geeking out on this week?
So what I've been geeking out on, of course, is I just can't get enough. I probably won't stop playing it. Is Final Fantasy. That's all I've been geeking out on. That's it. That's my life right now.
Have you finished your
and Final Fantasy?
Have you finished your first playthrough yet?
Not yet, no. Because I still have to do other things, adult stuff like house cleaning and all that crap. So
Sure. All right, well then I'll refrain from any spoilers, but it is real good. Okay, which brings us to our new cast member here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you want to go by here. We can edit to change it if you want. The name on the screen is Emmeline.
So my, I guess, gamer tag, if you will, or moniker that I generally use is L. You just call me L.
A new warrior has entered the ring.
Yeah, so what I've been geeking out on, I've been taking this quarantine time to rewatch a lot of stuff, but also re-listen to The Kingkiller Chronicle by Patrick Rothfuss. I'm on the second book, A Wise Man Fears, trying to get ready for that third one to come out whenever it does, which projecting this August, but
I've given up on either giant man with a beard finishing their book series.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's basically just George R.R. Martin Jr. at this point.
Oh yeah.
I am refusing to read any book series if it is written by an old white guy with a giant beard. Just not going to start it unless it's done.
Well, I don't even read the
Calling that
text.
out.
I do the Audible, and it has to be, if the third one does come out, it has to be read by Nick Podell, or I probably will just absolutely give up on it. Other than that, my current celebrity crush right now is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and Killing Eve.
Oh God.
Just came out, just premiered on AMC and BBC America, and her other show, Run, also just premiered on HBO with Domhnall Gleeson and Merritt Wever. So that seems, it's
That's
okay.
A fantastic cast.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and Killing Eve, you can't go wrong with that. And then also been watching Little Fires Everywhere on Hulu as well. It's basically Reese Witherspoon from her character from Big Little Lies again, but in the 90s. So it's not bad. It makes you hate everyone, that's always an uplifting
So
series.
just more plaid and ripped jeans. Is that what you're saying?
Oh
In
yeah,
the 90s.
pretty much. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I've been geeking out on.
Yeah. In the chat, we've got Jack Malice saying, hey, come down now. Old white guy with a beard, Terry Pratchett, was like a machine generating books before he died. Let's see here. Mess 5150 is binging on Once Upon a Time and The Good Place, and he just finished a Lucifer binge. All fantastic shows.
Love Good Place.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, and I do have to say I did start reading Ready Player One again.
Good.
Yeah. So
It's a good
there you
book.
go. There's my geek. There you go. I guess we should get on to the show. Everyone met L, by the way. Welcome to the cast, L. All right, let's get on with the nerd news. Boom. Hey, we've got some cool stuff going on this week. Finally, after 3 weeks of quarantine, we actually have topics, guys. We're not pulling stuff out of the cellars of Google and craziness of fakeweb.com or whatever. But we got some good topics this week, and I want to start off with some of the movie stuff going on. So the big one to start off with is, are we going to be able to see blockbuster movies anymore? Big news right now. AMC is in the possibility of going bankrupt during this coronavirus pandemic and whatnot. Can't totally blame it on it, though. When you read the article and check out the article, you'll find out that just like a lot of other big time companies, they went over their head and bought too much stuff and tried to do too much stuff with their money, and they're already in debt. So it just didn't help the fact that a pandemic decided to drive everyone back to their homes and they can't go see movies.
Yeah, if anything, it looks like the pandemic might be saving them from going into bankruptcy. Like they can't afford to go bankrupt right now.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it's that, and also the fact that they can't it's not like anyone wants to go bankrupt right now, because then they have to do something with the property and everything. So a lot of times, you know, what they were talking about in the article and stuff is that places where they rent or lease, they're going to be able to hopefully work that out, because they're not getting the money anyway. So you might as well just let them keep the place, and when they start opening up again, they start paying it back, kind of thing. But it looks like $4.9 billion in debt before, and that was from refurbing places and the purchasing of companies, Carmike's and Odeon Theaters. I don't know, never heard of them. Must be Midwest, East Coast. Yeah,
it's a regional
they're
thing.
big enough. Yeah. But what do you guys think about that? What would you say if you came out of this pandemic, you're alive, you're healthy? That's the first and most important thing. But then we can't go watch Wonder Woman or the next Avenger movies or anything else coming out.
It's called Go to Harkins. I mean, they're
What's a
not the.
Harkins?
I mean, it would suck. Don't
Oh,
get me wrong, but I mean, they're not the only movie theater chain.
They are
They
the
were
biggest,
the biggest in the U.S. though.
They are the biggest,
They're
though,
the
and I
biggest.
like them. I thoroughly enjoy going down the
US
street to
and
the
Canada.
AMC movie theater and doing the dine-in theater, and you know that's a good treat twice a month. So it would really suck, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. I mean, if Sears is still around, I'm sure AMC will figure a way out.
I'm just wondering if this is gonna be like, if this could be the time where drive-in movie theaters come back, because social distancing from people, you know, you're in your own car, or could this be the time where all like regular movie theaters kind of go the way of the drive-in, where they just kind of, because everything on streaming right now is moving from the theaters to streaming platforms or digital copies like stupid fast comparatively to like 10 years ago. Like you had to wait 3 years for a movie to go to the theaters to then get on VHS and then go to, you know, like premium cable or something like that. So
And now people are like, hey, we can't go theaters. We might as well go VOD right away.
There are some movies though that I need to see in a theater. I don't want to see it on my crappy little 32-inch flat screen, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that this came out.
that.
This came out, but then I think about a week ago, there was a fan, and I've seen it before, but it came about again, was a fan video where someone went to opening night for Endgame and recorded the sounds of the Endgame, of the movie itself, on their phone. And then when they were able to take the sounds from that opening night of Endgame and then put it together with the actual movie itself. Have you guys seen that video yet?
No.
Okay, if you haven't, you need to watch it, because it's crazy. It'll make you want to go watch these big time movies opening night, because the fans in the background, they're cheering, they're screaming. It's the whole fight scene at the end where Cap gets the Mjolnir and stuff. That's what I don't want to happen. Like, there's some movies I don't need to go see in the movie theater at this point. I get that. But there's big time budget movies and stuff like that where you want to see the special effects, hear the explosions. I can't get that in my living room.
There's absolutely movies where the crowd experience makes that movie. A bunch of different comedies, stuff like Endgame, the movie Us, or not Us, Get Out. When I saw Get Out, the audience made it.
I really bonded through the hatred with everyone that I saw at midnight for the Phantom Menace. I mean, we really forged a strong bond of hate that you can't get in the living room. I mean,
I hate watching movies with other people. I hate when people clap at the beginning of Harry Potter. I couldn't stand it. It's like, shut up, let me listen to the opening credits. Nobody wants to hear you like cheer.
Mrs. Malice, what are you trying to throw in there?
I mean, the whole thing with like the biggest thing that everybody usually wants to go see in the movie theaters is all the Star Wars movies, because of the screen being big and you can see everything and the sounds. And like, I mean, with my family, every time a new Star Wars movie comes out, we go see it in the movie theater, whether it's crappy Phantom Menace or the recent ones, or like I would love to see the old ones put back in the theaters just to, bring it back and so we can enjoy it again.
Yeah, it's absolutely, for the Star Wars movies specifically, it's important to have that giant crawl at the beginning, just the blast of John Williams right in your face. But here's my other thing. Besides even the, and they kind of mentioned this in the article a little bit, besides even just the crowd experience of watching certain movies, those aren't exactly buildings that you can easily convert to something else. What are you going to do with 18 rooms that all, slant at a 15-degree angle? What are you going to make that into a ballroom? That's not going to work.
Yeah,
Laser tag.
A comedy club. You could have a comedy club.
Oh, you would have to get like A-list comics for that. Like
you're going to need 18 comics a night.
It's in like some basement with maybe like 70 other people.
I got it. If we can pull our money if we can pull our money together, we can get one of those and we can make each one of those rooms like huge VR battle rooms.
Ooh. Or indoor sledding. Indoor sledding.
For everyone who lives in San Diego that misses the snow, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Indoor sledding.
Yeah, so let's see. So Jack Malice is in the Twitch there. He's saying he likes the crowd experience. Saw Spawn open the night, fight in the front row. Okay, wait. Yeah, he loved the fight in the front row for apparently Spawn. Cannon Fodder 691. It's not in big crowds, but he does like seeing some of the movies in the theater. Yeah, I've seen most of those major cinematic. Anywhere from Star Wars. I've seen Titanic in the movie theater. I've seen all these major like Avatar stuff. It's a much better. I mean, in fact, you know what? A movie that was really good to see in the movie theater was Midway. And I don't know if the new one, not the old one, but the new one, because of the simple fact that like some of those fight scenes when they're flying in the planes and stuff, you could literally feel those bullets even though it's not happening, you can feel it with the sound effects and everything, just bullets whipping by you and stuff. That's the stuff you won't get that.
Yeah,
absolutely. I saw 1917 in the theater, and that was important to have seen that in the theater.
Yeah. 1917, Midways, they put in so much detail for those World War II era ships. Like there's not a whole lot of those around anymore. So seeing something from that era, like moving and stuff, and they put in a lot of detail. So yeah, seeing it on the big screen would be great. And don't get me wrong, I love going to the movie theater. I just don't like when there's a bunch of other people there. That's all.
What's the best thing to have in a movie? Trying to enjoy it? A crying baby. Those are the funniest. The crowds.
When I went to go see Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there was a crying infant in the very front of the theater, packed theater, and my friends and I were sitting in the back, and I literally stood up and went, "Are you kidding me?"
Well,
George Costanza moment.
I will tell you, if you haven't seen it, and I don't know if our producer can link it, if there's copyrights or whatever, but you gotta pull up that video where it's the Avengers Endgame when they put the fans' reactions to it. I guarantee watching that will get you to want to at least watch the big budgets or those types of movies opening night, because it wants me to do it. I usually skip those. I can make it a week. No one messes it up for me. Because I don't want to be watching a midnight show, and I don't want to go there without my kid because I want him to see it too. But you know what? We're going to train. We're going to train for that one opening night. We're going to get the midnight showing, and we are going to watch that movie without falling asleep. And I don't think you could. Let's move on to the next movie news. Ooh, this is a good one. We actually talked about this about 3 weeks ago, I think it was, or maybe a little bit longer ago. But Doctor Strange and the Ticket to the Multi-Universe, yes, has an unofficial director.
Of the Multiverse?
Yeah, we'll take that too.
And the Multiverse of Madness, that's it.
Yeah, has an unofficial director. And I say unofficial because one half of them have said he's doing it, but Marvel hasn't necessarily gone out and said it yet. But I'm excited about it because in an interview that Sam Raimi has done recently, he had made the comment, and the comment was something like this. Who knew that during the making of we referenced Doctor Strange and Spider-Man 2? Who knew that back then I would actually be directing a Doctor Strange movie, especially because he mentioned it's like his 5th favorite character before other guys.
His number one favorite superhero is Spider-Man. Yeah, he loves Spider-Man, which is why I like him as a director, because that happens to be my favorite superhero. So.
Yeah, so Sam Raimi.
I am.
Sam Raimi, Doctor Strange. What's your guys' thoughts? Let's go. Mrs. Malice, you were talking. Go first.
I kind of like, because of Spider-Man 3, I'm a little like, I'm hoping they let him do what he wants versus what they did with Spider-Man 3, and that just kind of like ruined it. But I'm also going to start taking bets on whether Bruce Campbell is going to make an appearance in this new movie, since he's in everything Sam Raimi does.
Bruce Campbell has to be in, so does the car.
Yep, the car and Bruce Campbell. Let's and his brother, Ted Raimi.
Ted.
So let's set your
Ted
mind at
Raimi,
ease.
yeah.
The difference is that was
it's
Sony.
like a bet on.
That was Sony. That was Sony pushing stuff through to try to make a movie and go off of that. And we all know that that's what happened. So it's Sony that did the first 3 Spider-Mans. Now you don't have to deal with Sony. You get to deal with Marvel and Disney, which, as you can tell, if you're a proven director, they let you do what you pretty much want to do for the most part because they know they'll make money.
Yeah, and I think this is a great pairing because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be somewhat horror themed, right? Like, I never read the comics, but from what I've heard, it's supposed to be kind of dark and creepy and scary. And we know that Sam Raimi can do that. That's how he started. I think that's a great pairing.
But his scary movies are not really scary. They're kind of slapstick horror.
They're campy horror,
like
but yeah.
They're funny and scary. It's that combo.
I would argue that the first Evil Dead is actually scary. I mean, maybe not with today's sensibilities, but at the time, that was scary.
Yeah.
Elle, throw in your 2 cents.
Oh, geez. So I did like the first 2 Spider-Man movies, and I did like the Evil Dead, of course, and I watched the Ash the Evil Dead on Stars. But the one thing that the first Spider-Mans did, which were great because it kind of did that whole kickstart the comic book movie genre again, from like really, really bad ones, from that terrible one with George Clooney that we will not mention. Yeah. To now, and just kind of see the evolution from those first Spider-Mans to like the new X-Men, and then to like they're getting more serious with like Logan and Joker. It's kind of almost changing the comic book movie vibe, but kind of going back to those original roots of what kicked it off in 2002. I think it would be great. I'm kind of getting sick of comic book movies, though. I'm not gonna lie, but I did really enjoy Doctor Strange, the first one. I did see that Rachel McAdams is not gonna be back, but I'm not too upset about that.
They have better people coming in for this movie, so
of course,
that's okay.
Bonus fact, circling back to what we were geeking out about, the King Killer Chronicle, according to IMDb, Sam Raimi is supposed to be directing the feature film of that, but that wasn't updated for like 3 years, so who the hell knows? But that could be interesting too.
Yeah, Super, do you have anything to throw in on the Doctor Strange with Sam Raimi?
This is the one that's supposed to have Wanda and Vision in it, right?
Wanda, not necessarily Vision. Definitely Wanda.
Definitely Wanda. Okay, well, I think that's good because maybe he'll finally be able to do something with her character that they didn't do in the Avengers movies. You've got one of the most powerful characters. Yeah, give her some depth. They did a little bit in Infinity Wars with her trying to help Vision, and through all of that there was finally some fleshing out to her character. So hopefully, because he actually made Kristen Dunst tolerable in the Spider-Man movies. So when you have someone as charismatic as Elizabeth Olsen, my favorite of the Olsens, then I think that it could be really, really good.
It's interesting for me because the fact this is probably like, if you think about this is possibly the movie that either continues Marvel or somehow derails it. And that's put a lot on Sam Raimi, and I think he's gonna be able to pull it off because I like the first 2 Spider-Man movies because they were exactly how Spider-Man was. You had perfect casting, the villains were great. It was that just enough camp and cheese because it's Spider-Man. because when you read Spider-Man comic books, there is that camp and there is that cheese in there. So I liked how he was able to put all that together, and I hated the third one to a point because of the fact that he could have did so much more with that, especially with having Venom in there, that he was forced and pushed and pretty much.
I wish they had just let him make the movie he wanted.
Yeah, exactly. So
that was the only one he didn't have any control over. The other two he did, which is why they're good, and the third one is not.
Yeah, so and he's got that right mind that he could. I mean, because this is going to open up the multi-universe and really start bringing in. I mean, bringing the depth to Marvel. I mean, this is going to be bringing in the mutants and all this other cool stuff. So this is a really big movie that I'm excited to see him do. And
after 23 movies, we're finally going to get some backstory. No, but to circle back around to what you were saying about this could be a make or break, I think that's really interesting because, in my opinion, his 2001, 2002, his first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, that's what kicked off the major comic book movie trend that has led us to the Marvel universe. And so the fact that they're bringing him officially into that, because that was Sony before, that's really cool. I think it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do in collaboration with Kevin Feige.
Well, wasn't Sony still kind of involved, because that was a whole Tom Holland crying to Sony to let them
that's for specifically the Spider-Man stuff, though.
Yeah, that's for Spider-Man. And this is Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
There's going to be. I don't know if there's going to be any references to Spider-Man in this one. I've heard. It could be potentially. It just
there
depends.
might be, because he's a part of the verse, and I mean, he was with Doctor Strange on the planet when they were brought back from the snap, and I mean, I would assume that they would at least mention him somewhere.
Yeah, you got to be the end cut scene after the credits.
And you got to think who's directing it. It's Sam Raimi, who his favorite comic book character is Spider-Man. So I wouldn't be surprised if they throw one in there about Spider-Man. And
I want him to at some point have worked with like 5 different generations of Spider-Man.
Chris Campbell and Ted Nugent.
I would love.
We're gonna get all 4 of those things.
Yeah, I would love for them to be able to open up the multi-universe and bring all the Spider-Mans together, like we've talked about before. That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. And
Donald Glover is an aged Miles Morales. Yes, Donald for Spider-Man still.
And you got to, and going back to the Wanda thing, you got to give them a little bit of credit. They did introduce her character in one of the major movies. I mean, they opened her up in Civil War, and then they went right into Infinity and then Endgame. So it's not like they really had the ability to open up her character and really go backstory, because, well, I don't know, there's 20 other superheroes and villains that were all getting screen time too. So that's what WandaVision, I think, is going to be able to pull off for them. So, cool. Any other comments on them, guys? We got one more. Good. All right, now to one I think IC is like foaming at the mouth for. We got our first pictures and images from the upcoming Dune movie, the reboot of Dune. What did you guys think of those pictures there? I'll let you guys start. IC, you gotta go ahead and start this one off, buddy.
Well, first of all, I want to know if anybody else has read Dune, because it's a pretty, like, it's a classic sci-fi novel, but it's really Mrs. Malice, excellent. It's very esoteric. It's super complex with the religion and the politics and philosophy and all. It's a deep and difficult book to get through, but man, these pictures look good.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh my god, it's a good book. It's difficult to get through, and not only did I see the original movie, but I also saw the TV series too that they had out with the children of Dune.
With Sting and Patrick Stewart.
So I'm kind of psyched for this one too.
So I've never read it, but anybody I've heard who has read it, they either hate it because it's too long and tedious, or they love it. And I think what's cool about this is, yes, the photos look gorgeous, and they also have a stupid relevant cast. It's Timothée Chalamet, it's Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista, like a lot of really big names. Josh Brolin.
You're leaving out
Javier Bardem.
Yeah. Zendaya.
I've never known.
I think it's Zendaya.
Zendaya. Yeah. Super relevant cast. Like, I hope they don't mess this up, because I'm very curious about it. I really don't know that much about the book other than it's sci-fi, and Sting was in the miniseries on, was it Sci-Fi way back in the day?
Mhm.
He was in the movie.
Sting
too,
was
wasn't
hot
he?
in the 80s, man.
Oh yeah, he was. He's diehard gorgeous.
But
The pictures look great. To me, it just kind of reminds me a little bit of the look that the new apocalyptic movie. Oh my God, guys going around and
Mad Max.
Yeah, thank you. Kind of
Fury
gave me
Road?
that. Yeah, kind of gave me that kind of idea at first. Just compared
could
to the
see,
first
like-
movie. Yeah.
Like Mad Max crossed with Starship Troopers is what it looks like.
Oh no,
But in a
please.
good way.
No,
But in a good way.
No, yeah, it kind of gave me that feel from the first Mad Max to the newest Mad Max. The way they changed up the look of them and made it more realistic. Breathers only going in their nose, like tubes. All the small things I got. I have read the book here and there. It's been too long since I've read the book, and I'm one of those guys where it was hard for me to go through it because at the time I wasn't into the political aspect of it. I kept dozing off when they were talking about treaties and stuff. Yeah. But I'm excited about it. It looks really good. And like you said, there's there's a hell of a cast there. There really is.
Seriously. I think the only major character I haven't seen a picture for yet that I really want to is Stellan Skarsgård as Baron Harkonnen. I cannot wait to see that. That's going to be amazing.
Skarsgårds are there? Jesus.
Just
there's enough.
I think.
There's enough to know that name actually exists.
Yeah.
Mrs. Malice, throw your stuff in there. Go for it. Let's hear it.
I'm just looking forward to it because one of my favorite characters is getting played by now one of my favorite actors. And that's Duncan Idaho. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's Jason Momoa.
Sure is. I like the fact that what's his name? Josh Brolin is playing a character that was originated by Patrick Stewart. That's an interesting transition.
I know. That's a good one too.
Here's what I would like to know. If you take all the cast and take their highest scoring movies, like grossing wise, how much money do you think those actors have made?
Jillions.
Holy crap.
Jillions of
Holy
dollars.
crap.
How many Oscars are in that cast?
I don't know, man.
Quite a few.
It's crazy. But yeah, the pictures look great. I'm excited with the look of it and everything. I can't wait to see that first trailer that comes out whenever that's going to be.
And
I agree with Elle, though. Sorry, go ahead.
I like the fact that too, some of what they've shot the scenery for for Dune is actually done. They did the same for like Star Wars. It's in the same areas, which makes it even really cool because it kind of intertwines the whole space thing. So I like that fact.
Yeah, Jordan and Abu Dhabi and stuff like that. Yeah.
What are you trying to say? This is set up for the new Star Wars trilogy? Is that what you're doing?
Maybe.
I mean,
it's possible.
they're both essentially Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, right? Yeah. No, I agree with Elle, though. Most people that I know that have experience with the original material either love it or hate it. And I would say that most of the time that's about a 30-70 split. If you're reading that book originally, you really have to be into that kind of stuff. It'll be interesting to see if the movie does well or not. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think in order for the movie to do well, it's got to have more action in it. Because I do remember the original movie. It was mind blowing, and it was amazing what they were able to do. A lot of it was the effects and how they were able to create the world. However, though, when you actually watch the movie, it's how some people talk about Clone Wars. There's more diplomacy going on than there is actual like action and stuff like that. And we're in that age right now where
Dune's got better writing behind it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where we're in an age right now where you've got to have like there are good movies out there, but the action is kind of like what's driving people to see stuff right now.
I think that's going to be interesting to see how they upgrade that, because there's a lot of in the book there's a lot of sword fighting. In the miniseries there was a decent amount. Like that's the whole point of Josh Brolin's character, is that he's supposed to be training Paul Atreides on how to fight. And also they had like some kind of weird energy gauntlet thing. But in the 80s version, it was like the effects were worse than Tron.
Yeah.
Probably had better special effects, you know.
Isn't there
So-
that like they would pee in their suit and then would transform into
Yes.
water so that they can drink?
Well,
Was that Dune?
yes.
Yeah.
The whole reason that they have those things in their nose is that whole suit is a liquid reclamation thing. They live on a desert planet where it never rains. So even when they're breathing moisture out, they have to be getting that liquid back. So yeah,
that's literally
but I think-
the only thing I remember from the Sting version is that those suits.
I'm looking forward to a movie that is Dune, but with like CW Arrowverse quality fight choreography.
If they can combine the two, but don't cut the quality of the writing content just to give me some gratuitous sword fighting, because that's kind of what you did
For sure.
with Game of Thrones the last few seasons, and look how that turned out. You can cook
I
a
didn't
corpse on that pile of shit. So
I want to see how well they do the worms too, because that's a big part of the movie too. Is in the books is those worms.
The
oh,
spice of life.
those I think are going to be awesome because special effects have come so far.
I hope so.
So man, there is some craziness going on in the chat room right now. I'm kind of going through this here and stuff. Let's see here. Let's see. Cannon Fodder never read Dune. Sorry to hear that, sir. Need to step up your reading game. Let's see here. Jack Mouse has read it 5 times, so he can tell you all about it. Heck, he could probably read it to you a 6th time if you want him to.
There's a lot of call for He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Yes. HJ, welcome. Wants to know if they're going to have Patrick Stewart in there. I hope they do.
That would be cool.
Sting cameo? I don't know.
No, I like Mess comment. What's a different British singer we can put in a role in it? Just not Ed Sheeran.
Oh man, yeah, dude, I can't even catch up. You guys are going crazy. Yeah, and then there's one. He shall not be named yet. I'm sure it'll happen. Yeah. Wow. You guys are all into it. Stilt suits. Yeah.
Sam Cage.
Oh yeah, they said Nick Cage could be a sandworm. There you go. Put his face out of the
hilarious.
No, no.
Kevin
like in Beetlejuice.
Or Tremors.
Like in Beetlejuice, there's the part where Michael Keaton's face is on the
that big
railing that turns into the worm. Yeah. Exactly that. But
the giant tongue comes out of the giant worm, and it's Nick Cage's head.
Did you
like an
say
alien mouth.
Those screenings was cannon fodder.
Yeah, one of the guys in our chat room, his name's Cannon Fodder 691. He actually does a really good job. He plays a lot of games on at night and stuff. Right now he's rolling through Red Dead Redemption and everything. He's really cool, man. You guys should check him out.
Well, no, I went to college with a dude who his gamer tag was cannon fodder. I don't know what the numbers were, but that'd be interesting.
Well, there you go. You guys can chat about it. I went to school with a guy who has the same exact name because him and I are classmates. Anyways, yeah. So Dune will be coming around here. The pictures look awesome. Do not disappoint us, peeps. We will come at you with beer bottles and
I can't remember who the director is, but I remember being confident in their ability. So,
oh look, Rurutu threw in something. Ewan McGregor, he will sing. There you
I
go.
love Ewan McGregor.
He could double time it. He could do Dune, have a beard, and then in between scenes where he's doing Dune, he could run over on the other side of the desert and do some Obi-Wan. Let's go.
Yeah, he would be fine. He would not be out of place at all in a movie like this.
No, he would not. I think he'd be just fine.
There's not any movie where Ewan McGregor could feel out of place. I love that dude.
All right, guys. Ewan McGregor, he is the Jesus, the Jesus. Hey, let's move on.
And Rurutu says that it's Dennis Villanueva who's directing. So, yes, I have confidence in that.
Yes, you guys need to be in this. Yeah, this chat room's blowing up. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next topic of the news. We have some reboots coming up to us. Green Hornet has been green-lighted. It looks like they're gonna be doing a Netflix series or a movie? I can't remember. It's Green Hornet and Kato. Yeah, it's a movie. I want to say it's a movie.
It's a movie from the production company Amazia, which has co-founders Michael Helfont and Bradley Gallo. Helfont used to be he used to be Kevin Feige at Marvel until Feige took over.
Yeah, that's right. So they brought Green Hornet. They're bringing him back now. Did anyone see any of the original stuff on TV back in the old days and stuff, or with Bruce Lee and stuff? No.
With
I might have.
my dad a few times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
And then-
remember it much, but I did.
I'm with you on that one. I remember seeing a couple of them, but it's like I don't remember it.
Kind of
remember
imagine. I was about to say,
there was-
kind of imagine Batman and Robin, except Robin is the one that kicks everyone's ass.
Didn't they already have a movie made out too recently?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and they did do a movie, and that had Seth Rogen in it, and it actually did pretty good, 227 million off 120 budget.
Yeah.
So it doubled its budget. Not
I
bad.
remember that the most. The TV series, not so much. That I do remember.
Elle, you're kind of quiet down there. What?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Did you ever see the Rogan version?
Nope.
Oh.
Okay,
See,
so
that's the only thing I know about Green Hornet. I never saw the TV stuff. I never read the
Wow.
books. And that
When we get to the
that movie.
next topic, you'll
sure. I
understand
got you. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
because I only ever saw the Rogan version, that just threw me off. Like I don't even care about this character at all.
Well,
Yeah.
the Green Hornet was a very big radio radio show back in the day. Had a good comic strip as well. And in the 60s, it is actually the thing that introduced Bruce Lee to the U.S.
Yeah.
It was a show he did. That's what got Bruce Lee to come to the U.S. and actually be able to start in the films and everything. That first role. That was the significance of back then. It's literally, like I said, it's like Batman and Robin. You've got this guy who's a detective, and he's got a lot of funding. He's got cool gadgets and weapons and stuff. But his
He's
chauffeur,
like head of a newspaper, right?
yeah, and his chauffeur is Kato, which in the TV series was Bruce Lee, and in the Seth Rogen movie, I can't remember who played the actor, but he was pretty dang good.
Wasn't it?
He's a
I thought it was.
No. It was Jason something Lee. Is the guy? Yeah,
It
it's
was a
like
Lee,
one of
though.
Bruce Lee's, but it was one of Bruce Lee's students.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember that it was a Lee. I just can't remember if it was Jet Li or some other Lee.
No, I don't think it was Jet Li.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only difference between the Seth Rogen movie and then the what it's all about is Rogen's character, the Green Hornet, was more of a comedy kind of guy. And when you actually go back and watch either television or go back and read the comics or check out the strips, he's more of like I said, he's more of a more low key, low budget Bruce Wayne. And Kato's the one that just kicks everyone's butt, and it was a pretty decent movie. Like I said, it grossed double what they did. So now they're going to green light and bring another one back in. I was hoping they're
green light.
Didn't it come out, the Seth Rogen one? Didn't it come out at the same time as like Kick-Ass or like Super or some other?
I think it came out around the same time as Green Lantern, which
yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It was
people were
Green
more
Lantern.
excited about
Yeah.
that one, and then the Seth Rogen one kind of like flew under the radar because everybody's like, "Oh my God, Ryan Reynolds and Green Lantern!" And you're like, eh. So I didn't see it.
All right, the guy that played Kato, the guy that played Kato in the Seth Rogen version was Jay Chow. So
Jay
I was
Chow,
completely
yeah.
wrong.
Yes, so was I. I looked it up too. We were both wrong.
So that's going to be a project coming along pretty good, which is good. So I'm excited to see that, just because, like I said, I've seen some of the original stuff, and movies are getting better as time moves forward. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right,
To take a little more of the
you're-
pessimistic side, just real quick. I know Elle was saying earlier that she was thinking that Doctor Strange might be kind of the apex of the comic book movie thing where it all starts to come crashing down. For me, a Green Hornet remake, that feels like that.
I don't think it's the apex. I think it's I think there will always be movies like Avengers and that kind of high action blockbustery type thing. I think now with movies like Logan and the Joker coming out, and I think even like Batman Begins and that new Batman trilogy that came out, it's kind of shifting what the superhero genre is, where it's not, it's not Spider-Man, which is, super quippy and that, which is fun. It's fun. It's just when that's every single movie, it gets a little bit just kind of exhausting.
Let me rephrase, not apex, saturation point.
Well, here's what I look at it like. So Marvel is going to be solid for a long time. Okay, they've set up, they've got phases and phases. We're going to see Marvel movies for God knows how long. DC is kind of finding their way, okay? And then Star Wars is finding their way with a new direction. I think this Green Hornet movie is someone's attempt to try to find a Guardians of the Galaxy. Because when you think of all the Marvel movies that have come out so far, Guardians of the Galaxy was the shocker, like oh my God, this is a great movie and everyone loved it. And wow, this was a
James
surprise
Gunn
movie.
is brilliant.
Out of it. Yeah. So I think this is someone's attempt to try to find something else with some name that's still out there. Because at this point, you got to find a movie, or if you're going to make a movie off of something, you got to find something that people have either seen and forgotten, never seen before. Hence the reason why the next phase of Marvel, you're going to see some characters you haven't seen yet or heard of maybe. That's what you got to do and able to compete now at this point, because you can't keep up with the Disney juggernaut that is Marvel and Star Wars.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. That's why like Marvel will never fail. I think the one thing about comic books and comic book movies is there will always be huge fan base, all the fandoms. And especially with a behemoth as large as Disney, like they're kind of too big to fail. I don't think, this quarantine and COVID stuff, like, yeah, they're struggling because their parks are closed and stuff like that, but they own so much stuff. They own so many rights. It's like they will always have people who wanna be cast members and work at Disney, and some of it will be great and some of it we'll see.
Reboot says it's been like that since Winter Soldier. And let's see here. Yeah, then they're debating on where Bruce Lee was born. And then Reboot 2 throws in Green Hornet is more of an Ant-Man property. So kind of like that level of it, kind of like a filler, I guess. But I don't know. Ant-Man's done pretty good with Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, all right, Elle, we got to get to your favorite one, I think. Your kitty. And, of course, we're going to start it off by in a world.
In a city, in a town, in a world, they thought they had it all figured out. But there was one thing they didn't plan on.
We have some reboots coming around, and there are some trailers that go with it, hence the reason why we said in a world. The next reboot is actually not a movie. It is a television show. 30 years ago, the show was named Saved by the Bell. And yes, I think it was today or yesterday, we got a trailer for the reboot of that show that featured two of the characters from there. It was
Mario Lopez.
Yeah, go ahead. Mario Lopez and
Elizabeth Berkley.
Yeah,
what was her name?
Elizabeth
Slater.
Berkley, right?
Yeah,
Casey Slater and Jesse Spano.
Slater and Jesse.
Yeah, so Slater and Striptease.
So this isn't my favorite. This is me dating myself. Saved by the Bell was before my time. I've never seen Saved by the Bell. I think I met Mario Lopez once on a red carpet, but that's it. I don't know what it's about other than kids in high school in California. Like,
I thought you said the next topic we were talking about. That was what it was going to be.
Oh no, I said like
I watched Saved by the Bell.
Like, no, because Green Hornet is an old show. Saved by the Bell is a newer show, but still, like I said, that's just me. That's me dating myself. That was
Saved by the Bell was
Never
every
seen
day after school in syndication. You'd get home and you'd watch like an hour and a half of it.
Yeah, of kids
It was
going to school.
fantastic.
Of kids going to school.
Yeah,
but the kids that I wish that I was.
I saw some of it, but it wasn't my cup of tea back in the day. But I understand all the characters and stuff. I've seen enough of it. So, did you guys have a chance to see the trailer?
I did.
It kind of makes
I
me
liked
want to
it.
watch it.
Yeah, I liked it for one reason, because it made it more, I don't know, more edgy, a little bit more adult. The whole thing at the end was Slater talking about how he had one problem with a girl, he found another girl. Oh, and that was your mom.
And then I saw another girl, but that was your mom. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. He's still very charming, still a little bit crude, but he'll work.
He's a little bit.
It's Slater.
Yeah, he's
vain. He's got his wrestling singlet framed on the wall of his gym coach office.
I know. I mean, I didn't really see Jesse in the thing. I might have
Not much. No, they
He's in
were
for like
no.
3
focus on
seconds.
later.
Yeah. So what is she? Is she a teacher
Well,
there, or
that-
is she a mom?
No, she's the
commented-
mom of one of the
wife.
students.
Okay.
I don't know.
No,
yeah,
not
they
his wife either.
No.
They commented on their and they're saying that Zach and Jesse and Screech. Well, we all know why Screech wasn't on there.
yeah.
But I think he might still be serving. But
That-
they
don't like him.
Well, are
Yeah.
they bringing Tiffany Amber Thiessen into it, or
God, I hope so.
they did? Okay.
yeah.
But
I
I'm
know,
still,
I don't-
I'm
they
still
didn't- I don't know if
curious
they
to see
did.
if they actually have filmed anything with Mark yet, because he would be why I would watch it. I mean, I love Mario Lopez too, but
According
he
to-
was always my favorite.
So, according to the
agree.
article, the whole plot setup for the show is that Mark Paul Gosselaar is now the governor of California. Zach Morris is the governor, and he's been having problems with school funding in different areas. A bunch of low income housing area schools got shut down, and in order to alleviate that, he sends a bunch of those kids to some of the higher performing schools, including the one where his son goes to, which is Bayside. So it's bringing the whole thing back together full circle, and I think it's hilarious that that group of 6 friends, one of them ended up the governor of California, and the other one teaches gym at their old high school.
And I think they mentioned that wasn't Zach and Jesse like it's their kid or something like that.
No, it's Zach and Kelly.
Zach and Kelly,
yeah.
excuse me. Yeah,
'Cause they
sorry,
got
Zach and
they
Kelly.
got married.
Yeah.
And that kid looks crazy like Mark Paul Gosselaar did as a teenager.
Yeah, I actually thought they edited him in. I thought they were
Me
meshing
too.
like the two as a joke, and then I was like, oh no, that's really not him. Like,
They found a good actor to match those two characters.
Hey, who we missing?
Well, good
We're
lookalike.
missing
I don't
one-
know about good actor.
Aren't we
Lisa
missing one
Turtle.
more? Yeah, thank you, Lisa
Yeah.
Turtle.
yeah.
Turtle.
Was it Turtle, not Tuttle?
No, it's Turtle.
It is
Mark
Turtle?
Voorhees was the actress. I don't know.
Yeah.
I believe it's
Yeah.
She's got stupid names all over the place. Let's not go there. I mean,
So that's interesting. I guess entertainment's gotten to a point where now they have to start rebooting some of our shows.
Well,
What do you mean
they
start?
did 90210 like
Yeah.
last year, Beverly Hills.
well, that one was just garbage. But
Yeah.
but
They
they
did
had some
Melrose Place.
success. They had some success on the Disney Channel with Girl Meets World. And I like this one. I think this one's going to be better because it, like you said, it's going to be a little bit more edgy, but still family friendly because it's on a family friendly
Man.
network.
Girl
The
Meets
chat-
World was good too.
Gosh, I'm waiting for them to reboot like Malcolm in the Middle and
Yeah.
Seventh Heaven or something like that. Something
Oh,
ridiculous.
Man,
God, yeah.
The
'Cause they
chat
already
room's
did
go-
Sabrina. It's a little bit
Uh,
different, but they got
Yeah.
Sabrina.
But yeah, the actress that did play Lisa, she did rebound. The last I saw of her, she owned like a bar or something like that in California. She had like a bar and grill restaurant. I don't know if she still has that or not. But yeah, a lot of PTSD probably having to act the most against Dustin Diamond because that fool is crazy.
So
Didn't he
so the
stab
chat room.
somebody?
He also made a adult video.
Yeah. yes,
But
he
yeah, so the chat room's going bonkers right now between rebooting Alf to let's see here where to
did.
go
Oh,
here.
Willie.
Oh yeah,
Speaking of
don't
sitcom stars that have problems.
yeah,
Willie from
don't forget that they also made the college years for Saved by the Bell. That was
Yeah, they
messed.
did.
Let's see, and then
For me.
a bearded master threw in there that you could actually watch Saved by the Bell because it's on Hulu.
Yep, it
So
is.
you can check it out there. Thank you very
All
much,
of
sir. Let's see here. HJ Z Grok says that we need more Charles in charge. Let's see
Scott
here.
Baio still looks exactly the same, so that'll work.
Welcome to the chat room, Johnny Bon Johnny. Reminds us that Jesse went to Vegas and became a dancer. I wanted to say that word and not the other word. And then Mess reminded us that Screech, or his real name, Dustin Diamond, made an adult film. And then Ruru 2 threw in there, at least got a chronic disease and stopped acting. Hopefully he'll give
That's
her a chance
right.
to at least come back in and do something. That'd be nice to see her.
Look, just as a fan of the original show, as somebody that watched it, like I said, damn near every day after school, I loved this trailer. I thought that it's a little edgier, but like super well written. It looks pretty well cast, but still with the same kind of whimsical, fun vibe. I think it's good. I'm gonna watch it.
Here's a downside though. If I'm not mistaken, you're gonna have to get the NBC app, the Peacock, I think is what they're called.
Yes, because I pay for all of my content. Yes.
Yeah. Well, what I was told was that you can watch the NBC app for free, but you're going to have commercials. So if you pay for it, it's commercialless. If you just want to watch it for free, you're going to have to just watch their ads. That's my understanding, because people have been complaining nonstop in the Psych group that I'm in about they don't want to get the app just to watch the Psych movie. But then they were like, well, don't worry, you're just going to have to watch it with commercials. And, NBC's trying to find that balance. So if it's free, that's fine. I'll watch it for free. I don't mind a few commercials.
Yeah, it's like watching Hulu. When you watch a TV series on Hulu, you get a little bit of commercials.
Yeah.
So I'm already used to it. I'll do it.
All right, we got one more show, guys, that they're rebooting. And I don't know if anyone on this cast will remember it except for me. But it was significant, though. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a show called Perry Mason.
Oh, this is Pa's time to shine.
I hung out at my grandparents' house occasionally.
Yeah. Let me just say that you cannot be, well, yeah, my grandma and my dad too. Perry Mason and Murder, She Wrote were what I watched with my grandma Emmerich and my dad. But I can't be friends with Red Meepaw and not know what Perry Mason is, because she would always send me messages whenever I was watching something on Amazon Prime, and she would be like, dude, you watch too many things. I have to go searching for my Perry Mason again. And I'm like, would you just quit complaining? You've seen it like 10 times. I don't want to hear it. She's very excited.
Yeah, so for the back history, I didn't even have to look this up, because unfortunately my dad was a huge fan of Perry Mason. Perry Mason had 2 different shows. I can't think of the actor's name off the top of my head. I should have looked it up before. Maybe I see you could take a second to look up his name. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can picture him in my head.
So there was 2 shows. The first one happened in the 50s or 60s. It was
57 to 66.
Yeah, 57 to 66. It was black and white television. What was the actor's name again? Did you get it there?
Raymond Burr.
Thank you. Raymond Burr. Phenomenal actor. Has been a lot of stuff, but this was like his Luke Skywalker, if you want to call it that. This was a movie that a lot of people knew him, or this was the job, the acting job that people knew him by. And he is a lawyer / detective / everything else. It's literally like watching the beginnings of any of the crime shows you see nowadays, except it was in black and white.
It's if Law and Order only had one person starring.
Exactly. He did it all. And it was a really successful show. It was black and white. And then it came back, I believe, in the 80s and early 90s.
There was a movie in 85.
Yeah, and then there was a return of the show. I don't think they called it the same name, but he did play the same actor or the same character, and it was now him in a wheelchair. So
the new Perry Mason was 73 to 74.
Thank you. So yeah, then he came back for 2 seasons, and he was the same actor, but then he was in a wheelchair. And like my dad loved the show. Like I could see him watching it all the time. It was the show you watch if you're homesick. And you were like, go, I'm going to watch cartoons. Your mom's like, you're either going to watch soaps or you're going to have to watch Perry Mason. So you had to watch
Price is Right was already over?
Yeah, Price is Right was already done. So this is your mid-afternoon entertainment. Did you guys get a chance to see the trailer?
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
Great.
Hey, Super, do you have anything? Super gets to do her rant. This is our Super rant really quick.
I mean, okay, the trailer was actually good when I went back and watched it. Now, I had a migraine earlier in the day when I didn't know that there were trailers attached to the article. So I went in to watch it before going to take a nap to try to get rid of the migraine. Worst choice I ever made in my whole life. That whole trailer was filled with nothing but, I don't know, were they trombones? Were they saxophones? Were they trumpets? I don't know. All I know is I wanted to find them all and shove them up the ass of the people that were playing it, because it made me want to throw up. That's how bad my migraine was. Worst choice. And then why in a film noir, which I love film noir. I love it. It's one of my favorite genres, Maltese Falcon, all of that, the hard-boiled detective. But why is there always a creepy woman standing in the water with her arms up? Always. Why? What? Why? Why do we have to have that? I don't get it. I don't understand. The rest of it was really good, though. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be good.
Al,
It's a baby rant. It's a little rant.
Al, I want you. You're new to the cast. I want you to follow up that. Go.
Jesus. It looked good. I like the saxophones because it's 30s and it's all swing. So HBO they did Boardwalk Empire. So their period pieces I think are solid. So you're gonna see some swanky ass zoot suits or whatever they had in the 30s, right before the Depression. Some sexy saxophone jazz stuff, and then I've never heard of Perry Mason either. So even my husband, who's like, "Oh my gosh, you've never heard of Perry Mason?" No, I'm 10 years younger than you. Why would I have heard of that? So
damn, this might be the last time you're on the show.
Occasionally, this cast just makes me feel super old, which is always great. No, look, Perry Mason was never my show. I was aware of his existence, but I never watched that crap. That was my grandpa's show. However, looking at this cast is goddamn amazing. Just the fact that the guy that starred in The Americans is the lead, playing Perry Mason, multi-Emmy Award winner. You also got John Lithgow, Tatiana Maslany. And it's about time she got into the show since Orphan Black. Stephen Root, who I love in everything he's ever been in. Nate Cordry is fantastic. Like Lily Taylor, Robert Patrick, fucking T-1000 himself. This is such a great cast.
And I'll watch anything with John Lithgow.
And I have to go back and say, I don't want to say it's necessarily a reboot as much as I have to remind myself it's it's almost like a prequel, because this is going back to when he first got into Perry Mason first got into doing what he was doing, all the way. I think this is right after World War II, kind of like period of time, 30s
it's
and
late
stuff.
30s, I think.
Yeah.
So, but right before World War II.
Oh no, right before. Sorry, right before. So it kind of blends in everything, and I'm actually kind of excited about it, too much to where I might actually go on YouTube and start watching some of those episodes again, because when it all came down to it, that show really was a really good show to that generation. If you talk to anybody older than me, so your parents, possibly grandparents, depending on how old you are in the chat room, it was a really good show that people did not want to miss. Yeah.
The sequel, is it going to be called Better Call Perry?
Oh my gosh.
That's actually a good title. They should do that.
They should.
Mrs. Malice, did you want to throw anything in on this one?
I didn't watch it either. That was like the old people show. So I didn't watch it. I did watch Price is Right, though, when I was sick.
Nice. I do want to say that I think Perry Mason was the guy's equation to Murder, She Wrote. I think that's where.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. I mean, it really was.
Murder, She Wrote was better, but
I didn't watch that.
You never watched Perry Mason, so how do you know?
I didn't watch that, or Murder, She Wrote, or Matlock, which is something my mom.
Matlock was the one in the white suit, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Matlock was the okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
By the way,
Matlock.
Super. I'm just throwing this out there. Jessica Fletcher committed all those murders. There's way too many murders in that small New England town.
Yeah.
Spoiler. All right, guys, we're gonna finish off the show we got our last thing. How we like to usually end up the show is so you gotta talk about it. And then a little thing.
Somebody's got to talk about it.
Yeah, somebody's got to talk about it. There you go.
We need to talk.
You talking to me?
Oh my God! Who told you?
Have you told anyone else about this?
What you talking about?
Look who's talking.
So NASA, we've been talking about NASA a lot this week. You know what? I'm going to tell you, NASA during the pandemic has stepped up and has taken the ball. Someone's dropped the ball. They picked it up, and they've given us a lot of good stuff. And now all of us geeks are really starting to freak out because they just funded a new project. It's a huge satellite that they're going to build on the dark side of the moon.
Satellite telescope.
Cue the music. Yep.
Death Star.
Dark side of the moon. Nice.
Yes. When you look at the picture, and right now, if you're watching on YouTube, the picture up. Please tell me that the first image doesn't pop in your head is the Death Star.
Go to our Malice Corp Facebook group. You can see the links to this article. It absolutely looks like that gridded dent in the Death Star that the laser shoots out of. I got to point out real quick before anybody talks about anything else about this, when Masonic Vader put this in our show notes in our private chat about what we were going to be talking about, he put NASA finds satellite on the or telescope on the moon, and I was like, what?
What? Yeah.
Found a telescope?
What?
Who brought a telescope to the moon?
Correct, man. Autocorrect,
For
dude.
real?
Damn autocorrect, man. They were messing with me all day, man. Autocorrect was messing with me. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, and it makes sense why they're doing this. They found this huge crater that they're going to create on the dark side of the moon, a telescope. And what this is going to be able to do is get away from all the traffic and all the crap. Because if you guys haven't seen, there is so much space junk and satellites and space around us at this point that, I mean, I don't even think we could hear ET calling us right now because it'd get distorted. It'd be like
as a satellite communications technician, I have to clarify: the moon is 3 days away by rocket ship. Most of our satellites are only about 27,000 miles up, not that far. But there's so much noise coming off, the radio signals coming off the Earth, RF emissions from the sun itself, that placing this thing on the dark side of the moon that is constantly tidally locked away from the Earth is going to eliminate all of that stuff, and we're just going to be able to see forever.
So that's the smarter plan, is to put it where it's not going to be interfered with us on planet Earth. So that is.
And I'm going to wait for our producer Jack Malice to put any corrections to what I just said in the notes.
Yeah, I know, right? He's probably typing it out right now. Give him a few minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, El. Go ahead.
Oh
go
no,
ahead.
I was just asked, did they also order frickin' sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their frickin' heads? Because when he builds something on the moon, I feel like that's very evil geniusy like. Like, wasn't that
the
one?
Alan Parsons project?
It was. I thought it was Preparation H.
No, there's
And it was the Alan Parsons project. Yeah.
Well, wasn't that Moonraker, or there was a James Bond one too? At least in a video game of James Bond, there's always a base on the moon. So
yeah, we're doing it because, you know, instead of exploring our oceans that we know nothing about, we're gonna try to explore deep into space. It's really far away.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's scary down there. It's dark and scary.
It's super scary. At least in the moon, or at least in space, you can see if something's coming for you.
Yeah. Well,
I've been watching a lot of Cosmos recently, which is so I'm definitely in a space mindset. I think that's a brilliant idea. My main concern when I first saw it was, okay, this is going to be a dish that is basically built out of the ground on the moon, and it's supposed to be what, like 1.5 kilometers or so in diameter. And I was like, wait, so we haven't been to the moon in like 30 years. Who's going to build that? Turns out, robots.
Yeah. That's going to be
Yeah,
one
they
hell of
built
a...
the lasers.
You mean
That's
China.
all.
So I guess the fear of that though too would be, it's like, because of the meteors are probably going to really bombard that too. So hopefully they build it with something really strong.
So my question is that if we're trying to make sure that we don't have our current system mess everything up, like you said, we have a lot of interference 27,000 miles up, that's gonna be one hell of a cord, huh? It's gonna be like the moon's gonna be on the leash, man.
Do you want me to get into reflective SATCOM theory?
No, we're good.
Probably
dude.
not.
We're good. I'm just making a good joke. Come on, think about it. The moon's got a leash. It's all good. Don't want that dog getting away.
It's
We
a
need our
very thick
waves.
steel cable, yes.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, that goes along with Space Force, I guess, huh?
Yeah, now they have an actual purpose.
Yeah. Now, I want to say that if they do not make their first outfits up there on that big radar, like if they ever put a
giant helmet
station there, yes, giant white helmets, anything stormtrooper-like would be awesome.
I was going more Spaceballs, but okay.
Spaceballs actually would probably fit better right now, but by then, someone else will be running the show, hopefully. Man,
The one thing about the Space Force though is I guess they're kind of like modeling off the Air Force for it. Like, I think it should be the Navy. You're gonna have space ships. It should be Navy rings, not Air Force rings.
Most sci-fi I've read has any kind of space force modeled after the Navy and Marines. Yeah,
Exactly, because it's a space ship. It's USS Enterprise. That just makes sense. But I digress.
As a former Navy guy, I'm totally on board with that.
Word, homie. Word. I'm a brat, so I have to go with that. Yeah. Hey guys, that's the cast. We made it. We broke Elle into the cast. What do you think, Elle? Did you have fun tonight?
Oh no, absolutely. Thanks you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun. I hope I didn't mess it up too much.
You totally did. You're horrible. We will not. No, I'm just kidding. You blended in too much.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's why I don't do live broadcasts. I'll do a recorded.
We're just gonna need some color in the background from now.
Yeah, yeah. You're already getting into that Dune theme. You know, the whole desert and dust everywhere and stuff.
You're like
awesome.
a chameleon.
Well, guys, you guys in the chat room, you've been awesome tonight. Thank you guys. HJ, Cannon Fodder, Ruru 2. I mean, a bearded master. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Master's kicking in a lot.
Yeah, Mess, Jack. I mean, the usual cast of characters with some new stuff. Cannon Fodder is an awesome guy. You should check out his videos. He's gaming on Facebook. Check him out. But this is our time when we actually tell everyone where we can find everybody else. So, Elle, you being the new person, where can they follow our newest cast member?
Oh man, I just set up an Instagram like 2 months ago. I'm a professional photographer who just set up an Instagram 2 months ago. No, right now you can. I'm gonna shamelessly plug our actual play. So myself and Mr. and Mrs. Malice and AA Ron and a few others, we are doing an actual play of Dungeons and Dragons and Mr. Jack Malice's homebrew game, 28 pesos. Those are coming out every couple of weeks. Take a look out for those. It's pretty fun, if not just absolutely ridiculous, and a good way to kill an hour.
Yeah, and yes, and someone mentioned something in the chat room really quick. I want to make sure I mention this now versus later before you guys start jumping. Next week, we're going to have a special cast. We're going to have a special guest. This is the 30th anniversary of the movie Crybaby. And we're actually going to have the person who sang for Johnny Depp in that movie. James Enfelt will be on our show next week. As it's our 30th anniversary of Crybaby. So we're going to have a special guest on here. I think this will be our second special guest of the year. We're blazing trails, guys. So please join us next week at 8 o'clock join us for a great Crybaby chat. Make sure you watch the movie beforehand. Mrs. Malice, where can they follow you at?
You can follow me on Twitter at Malice, Mrs. Malice 4134. That's it. That's all you get.
There you go. Simple as that. IC, where can they follow you, sir?
At ICZoro on Instagram, Twitter, and PlayStation Network.
Boom. Super, where can they follow you, crazy woman you?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at SuperHoovianNut, and you can follow me on Instagram at SuperHoovianFreak. It's probably, I don't know, it's going to be a lot of, I think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's doing a Walking Dead show tonight with his wife, so I'm probably going to watch that on AMC and be tweeting a lot about that. I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, so. You
can follow me at Masonic Vader 71 on PlayStation Network and Masonic Vader on Twitter. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining our cast tonight, joining our show. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure if you're watching us on YouTube that you like and share. Also, if you're watching us on Stitcher, make sure you leave or listen to us on Twitch. Stitcher, iPad, or Twitch, or seeing us on Twitch. Leave something, a review. Leave 5 stars if you like us. Good times. We love that. We appreciate you. Thank you guys so much. You guys stay nerdy.
Carry on.
Bye.